Hey, this is sound system turn on at Arcadia Friends Community Church. Walk in, those two red lights, these two switches will be off. So first thing you do is turn those two switches on. That fires up this whole rack, including the amplifier down here that powers the speakers. The mixer board consists of, over here we've got receivers for the wireless devices. We've got 2 lapel mics and then 5 wireless handheld mics. We really only use 1 through 4 right here. The board is a Behringer X32. Software is up to date as of was this January 10th, 2016. We have some presets here that can be recalled for simply configuring base stuff that you might need for a presentation. Power is right back here, so you just turn the power on after you've turned those other 2 switches on over at the other board, or the other rack. First thing you want to do when you power it on is hit this under Scenes, this View button. It'll change the menu up here. See right here, 1, 2, 3, push it, and you should see this screen, which gives you a bunch of tabs across the top. We want to get onto the Scenes tab, so over here we're going to hit the right arrow, and these give us some preset program configurations we've made up. These knobs down here are knobs and buttons that you can push down on. So we want to find this one that says AFCC at the top. It should probably default to that anyway, but it's like a basic setting. Press the number 1 encoder button here to load scene number 0. So we'll load it. It says, do you really want to do that? Yes or no? These arrows refer to these 2 buttons over here, so we'll say yes. And it should reconfigure the board. The faders are motorized, so there's a lot of things that probably may shift. Don't let that frighten you. Once you have that recalled, you can actually hit this home menu, get out of that, and this goes back to just some default screens for other things. This board is 32 inputs, but there are 16 faders here that represent channels 1 through 16 when set to 1 through 16, or 17 to 32 when we press this button. So if I press it, you'll see some things shift. The input names change, the channel names change, and the motorized faders move. So we'll go back to 1 through 16 because 1 through 16 is where the inputs for basic stuff that you're going to need are. Here's the podium, here's a couple of lavaliers, here are the 4 wireless handhelds, here's a vocal for pianos, here's a microphone in the pianos, here's something called DVD left and right. Notice that this is a pair of faders. They're paired together, so moving one moves the other. Don't try to move them both at the same time because you'll feel resistance, like there's a motor pushing against you. These are currently all muted. They come up that way. To unmute them, you push the button. But this DVD player also acts as CD. It's this device right here. If you need to play CDs or DVDs, this is where you're going to get the audio from. The basic stuff, podium mic, hit that to unmute it. You don't need to worry about any of these faders, but this is the master fader over here on the side, so you want to raise this up. If you look closely, there's in the middle of the slider, there's like a hash mark. You line that hash mark up with the 0 mark, just as a good baseline to start with, and then you're going to come over here to the podium, and you can fade that up and fade it down depending on the volume level you need coming out of the podium microphone down there. That's the basics. That should set you up for rolling. To turn it all off, just reverse the power switches. Come over the board first, turn that switch off, go over here, kill those 2 red switches. Should power everything off, and you're good to go. Put the cover back on. The cover, there we go. So there's a cover, just goes on like so. Obviously, it'd all be off before you did that, but there it is. Thanks. Bye.